I see all these gurus online talking about this incredible scientific formula for achieving product market fit. And then I start wondering, if these frameworks and formulas for product market fit are so great, then why are 99% of SaaS and AI launches still failing? In this episode, I'm not going to talk about some mythical formula for product market fit. Instead, on this video, I'm going to walk you through 3 key products that I took to product market fit. I'm going to take you behind the scenes of the actual metrics that I looked at, what I learned to hit each of those phases, what happened in that phase of product market fit for that particular product. And it's my hope that taking you behind the scenes, you actually learn what it is to do that Shawshank crawl to product market fit as you take your product to launch and to new levels of product market fit. And when you watch this episode and apply the principles I'm going to walk you through, it's my sincere hope that you're able to accelerate your path to product market fit and to that next stage of growth. Intro. What's up, everybody? I'm TK and I'm the managing director of TK Capital. We are a holding company of a bunch of advisory and SaaS and AI companies. And on this channel, as I'm operating these companies, as I'm scaling my own companies, as I reflect on my journey as a founder, I share everything that I've learned, particularly around go-to-market. So if you're new to this channel, welcome. I drop an episode every single Sunday with actionable strategies and tactics from the trenches. So be sure to hit the subscribe button and that bell icon. You'll get notified every single time I drop an episode with the TK energy. And if you are already part of this community, my people, welcome back. It's really awesome to see you over here. All right, so let's go to my first product that I took to product market fit. My last company, ToutApp, pioneered the sales engagement category. I started out as a solo founder. I was in New York at the time, and I had just quit my 6-figure job, which was incredible for me at the time. I was working at Bridgewater Associates, one of the largest hedge funds in the world, and I started this company called ToutApp. And I didn't just start ToutApp. I had started another company called Braintrust, but that went nowhere. But I was trying to promote Braintrust, so I built ToutApp to cold email people so I could get new customers for Braintrust, and turned out ToutApp was more valuable, started making money right away. So with ToutApp, in the 0 to 1 journey, it started making money right away. So it already felt different, but that doesn't mean it's product market fit, right? Like your existing network of people can buy your product, but then you can't sell it to strangers. So the key thing that I did was, at that time, they didn't really have a Stripe mobile app. This was, back in the day, but there was Stripe. I was hooked into Stripe. And the way I set it up was you could do a free trial and then you would have to pay $30 a month. And at that time, $30 a month was pretty serious for SaaS. Whereas nowadays, who even charges by seat anymore? It's a platform fee and then usage credits. It's a whole mix. But back then, $30 was like a serious amount of cash. So what I did was, I really want to be dialed into the process. So the thing that I did was I wired up in the actual application. I'm an engineer, so I was building it out in Rails. I wired it up that any single time someone saw the upsell banner or the trial banner and started going to pay for the credit card, it would fire a webhook. It would then fire this custom app that used to exist back in the day called Boxcar, which would fire a notification to my phone saying, hey, someone's looking at the trial ending and looking at the credit card form. The moment someone entered their credit card and we charged them money, I would get a little notification. It would make a cash register noise. And every single time it made a cash register noise, it was a signal back to me that, okay, things are working. And every single time it made a boop noise, but there was no cash register noise right after, it was a signal to me that something's off in the trial to paid experience. And I just kept working on it every single week until it got to a point where the cash register noise kept going on, which was a signal, but that was actually not my true signal that we were at product market fit. My true signal that we were at product market fit, yes, and I called it Mr. Moneybags. Mr. Moneybags would just go off, make the cash register noise every single time someone swiped the card for a $30 a month payment, and would keep going. It was awesome, but I was working at the WeWork office. I had a little office, no windows, all the way in the back. I called it my cave. And I was just kind of cranking away, and there was a knock on the door. And I turn around, the door was like behind me. So I turn around and I see it's the office manager for the WeWork. And I'm like, I paid my rent. So I go over to him, I open the door, I'm like, hey man, like what's up? And he's like, hey, my Tout subscription it's like the trial's over. I'm like, okay. He's like, yeah, so I'm using it. I need to use it. So at that time, it was the first WeWork building, first or second in New York City. So at that point, they were just figuring it out. It's like, I'm using Tout to notify people about stuff that they need to do. Like he had a whole template. That was his community management workflow. And at that time, we hadn't really doubled down on salespeople. We were just an email tool. And he's like, my trial's over. I promise you I'm good for it. I need you to reactivate the account. I need to pay the $30, but I don't have the corporate card yet. I don't want to use my personal one, so here's some cash. And he literally handed me crumpled bills of $30. Kenny, I was just like, what are you doing? He's like, just take my money and turn my tout back on. And that's when I knew I had product market fit. And the lesson that I learned on this one is that it's important to have one metric that for me, my metric was every single time someone swiped the credit card, I would get a little cash register noise. And every single time someone looked at it, but didn't swipe it, but they were using the product, they were clicking on the link to pay, but they didn't pay, that was a signal to me. So I trained on that. I kept working on like, okay, today, like I heard a bunch of boops, but not a lot of cash register noises, cha-chings, boops and cha-chings, boops and cha-chings. And so I kept iterating on that experience and it just got better and better. I would get boop, cha-ching, boop, cha-ching. But the moment where there was a knock on the door and someone came over and like, please take my crumpled bills and turn my tout back on, otherwise I literally can't do my job, was the moment where I was like, we have product market fit. Like, we need to go raise some money. So that's my first one and then of course, ToutApp was off to the races. We took that self-service model, we grew it out. We raised from incredible investors. I moved to San Francisco. We raised from incredible investors. It was just like an incredible experience. And by the way, if you want to learn more about that experience of raising money, I'll link to a video below. You don't have to go anywhere right now. I'll link to it below. We grew out ToutApp. We moved to San Francisco. We raised our Series A. We raised a seed round. We raised a Series A from Jackson Square Ventures. We raised a Series B from Andreessen Horowitz. And then we exited the company. But along the way, there was a second product underneath ToutApp that came to be. So along the way, we really figured out that, yeah, we got product market fit, but to really attack the market, the way we raised our Series A and our Series B was that it wasn't just an email tool for, a building manager at WeWork or a random person doing PR. It was for salespeople. So we like doubled down on that. And as part of that, one of the things we started to understand was we needed to get into bigger deals. That was part of the play for our growth. So we rolled out Teams Edition. So we started selling more and more to salespeople, and Mr. Moneybags kept going on, cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. But then we started to realize, this was before our Series A, this was kind of like after we raised our seed, started to realize that multiple salespeople from the same organization would sign up for Tout and swipe their credit card. And what would happen was ToutApp would go viral within a physical space, meaning one salesperson got it and they would have the live feed on their screen. It would say ToutApp. And then the guy next to him were like, what are you using? And then he would get it too and he would swipe his own credit card. What we did was we built out internal tooling and we started recognizing when there were multiple users trialing or paying from the same domain. And as soon as we got to a critical mass, like 2 or 3 people, and it was part of a larger company, we would put a happiness officer, we didn't call them salespeople at the time, and they would reach out to those people and their boss and go top down to do an overall sale. And that's when we had our product-led motion, which we started with, but then we built out our Teams edition of ToutApp, where you could have shared templates, you could collaborate, you could get team metrics, and we really started our sales motion. And that's what really unlocked growth. That's what got us our Series A and our Series B. So we had this Teams edition. When we started to have a sales team, it wasn't about the $30 a month anymore. In fact, we kept raising our prices on the self-service. It went from 30 to 49 to 79. By the time we exited, it was like $125 a seat per month. And it started at 30. Nowadays in our portfolio companies, either the product is totally free or it doesn't start lower than $299 a month. And it includes a certain number of seats, includes the platform, includes a certain number of credits, AI credits, $299 a month. That's our minimum. If you can't afford $299 a month, we're not interested in doing business with you because you don't have enough of a business, which means that you're probably going to churn and fail. And then we're going to have a shitty business. So that's like how we did it. But back then it was $30, but then we increased it. So when we were doing this mid-market and enterprise, we were going upper, we started doing deals that were like 10K for a year, 20K, 50K. But then I set sort of a benchmark. We all did. We're like, we want to do our first 100K deal where they're paying us $100,000 for a year of ToutApp. You can do the math back then on how many seats that is. We added in additional things that enterprises and mid-market companies cared about, certain integrations, but 100K deal. What I said was, hey, every single time a sales rep closes a 100K deal, I'm gonna get you a bottle of Dom. And nothing happened for a little bit until the first time the first rep closed their 100K deal. They closed a 100K deal. And it's kind of like that whole story of Roger Bannister. It's a story of the 4-minute mile. It's where Roger Bannister did a 4-minute mile. And then right after he did it, a whole bunch of people did it. And now a 4-minute mile happens all the time with kids in high school. It was one of those things where we had to break our mental barrier of what's possible. Because you can think about it, we were coming from selling $30 a month seat. We turned into a company where we're selling to teams and we wanted to sell it for 100K per year. It required us to up-level ourselves, and I knew that. That was the new level of product market fit. And in order to do that, I was like, there has to be a reward and there has to be a clear rally call of this is what we're going to do. And sure enough, our first sales rep hit a 100K deal. I had nothing to do with it. I wasn't part of it. They were running the sales. We had an incredible VP of sales, sales manager, salesperson. They did it, 100K deal. But then something else happened. I found myself buying more and more and more bottles of Dom. 100K deal, 100K deal, 100K deal. And little by little, we started stacking them up. And that's when I knew we had a whole new level of product market fit for the company, but also we had product market fit for the Teams edition. And what this means is a lot of times product market fit was about setting a metric of here's what we want to get to, or here's the frequency of what we want to get to. On the first one, it was how do we actually get to a volume, a frequency of people swiping their credit card. For this one, it was how do we measure a certain level of commitment, a 100K commitment where, if you're making a 100K purchase for a mid-market company, not an enterprise. For an enterprise, 100K is like a pilot. It's like a throwaway. For mid-market, that's a significant investment. And so we were like, 100K deal tells us that we're gonna be running their sales team. Like we're part of the infrastructure. So they're not gonna churn that easily. So we set that and we drove towards that and we up-leveled our mindset around that and we hit that new product market fit. And so that's how I thought about these two. The third one is for my next company that I started. Oh, by the way, this 100K thing came into play again for a different product, and I'll mention it here. We sold ToutApp to Marketo. And I thought I was done, but the company that bought it, Marketo bought us, and they were like, hey, TK, we need you to join the exec team. So I joined the executive team, and I was given the title of SVP of Strategy. And SVP of Strategy is like one of those titles where like, we're just gonna make them do all the stuff that the rest of the executive team doesn't wanna do, which was totally fine by me because it was an incredible experience. One of the things that they didn't wanna do, which they told me to do, which I had to do, was move to London. I moved to London, they got me in a really sweet apartment, and we had offices in London, Dusseldorf, Paris, and Dublin. So I had to kind of commute between those and I had to keep flying back to the West Coast for important meetings because we were also thinking about selling the company. And over there, we had an opportunity for selling Marketo. Marketo, again, came from the mid-market. And part of the big transformation we did was sell more into the enterprise and go after Eloqua. We had an opportunity for $1 million deal. And even with Marketo for the scale it was at, I don't know the full history before me, but there weren't a lot of $1 million deals happening. It was more like 100, 200, 300K, 400K. But $1 million, it was actually above $1 million. And I remember we started working on it. And by the time I finished up in London, we hired an MD, I went back and I'm having my one-on-one with my boss, who's the CEO. And he's like, he kind of looks at me and I'm back from London. I'm finally in San Francisco. I miss my place. He kind of leans in. He's like, you don't have to, but if you did, it would mean a lot. And so then I got on a plane and moved to Australia.
It is Tuesday, November something, I don't even know. I'm wrapping up 2 weeks here in Sydney.
To be the temporary MD over there so we could bring in a new leader and fix all of that.
So remember how I was in Sydney? Well, after Sydney, I went back to San Francisco. I had meetings an entire week in San Mateo and San Francisco. And then I got on a plane again on that Friday and came back to Sydney. So I'm back in Sydney. I'm so exhausted. I think, I don't want to hope for anything because awesome things happen.
But in that time, I got the notification, we're like, hey, we won that $1 million deal. And that was huge for Marketo because Marketo was going through a transformation. It was even for that size company, which was like, by the time we sold, it was like a 450 million ARR company. Even for that stage, $1 million deal was a new level of product market fit. And that's what we were measuring. And that's when we knew like, oh my God, if we can do $1 million deal, that means that Marketo can go after more Eloqua customers, more in the enterprise, and can win more $1 million deals. And of course, Adobe bought Marketo, and that's like core enterprise. So now I'm sure they do plenty of these because it gets bundled in with all the other Adobe stuff that these enterprises are buying. The mindset around that, it's not some weird scientific formula. It should be like, what's that next level of product market fit? Once you get past the 0 to 1, which is purely credit card swipes, boom, 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 cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. Then you get to number 2, which is what is the next level where we're like, oh my God, that's insane. How could we possibly do a 100K deal? Or how could we possibly do $1 million deal? But it's like pushing yourself to that next level of product market fit. Before I go to number 3, which is for a completely different product and how I took it to product market fit and beyond, let me just pause here for a second. Are you starting to see the power in this? Product market fit is not some weird formula. It's actually a Shawshank crawl. One of my favorite movies is Shawshank Redemption, and it's when he breaks out of jail and goes through that tunnel and he's doing the Shawshank crawl and he gets to freedom. It's a Shawshank crawl. You got to get through it. There's no formula for it. There's no framework for it. There's no equation for it. There's no dumb survey where you're like, what would happen if you left and never happened? It's like, no, dude, that's not it. It's none of those things. It's literally just saying, what is the level we want to get to? And can we hit that? And then what is the next level we want to get to in revenue? Because that will tell you if there's product market fit. It's expanding your mind of what's possible. So if you're getting the power of this, can I just get a yes in the comments below? And also smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. It just loves it when you do that. So yeah, please just smash that like button. YouTube algorithm loves it. We love it. We put a lot of love into these videos. And if you don't want to put a yes, because it feels like kind of trying, like, oh, it's a yes, like put a comment in. Tell me what you think. Tell me what stage you're in. I love hearing from you. Comments are literally my love language. I'm not making this up. I love the comments. I am scrolling through the YouTube app, not to see how many views we got or how many subscribers we're at, although those are nice, but to see the comments. Seriously. So just put in a comment of what you're thinking. Also, this episode, the reason I'm able to do these episodes and bring you this level of content and put in this effort and be able to like do this instead of trying to go do something else is because this episode is sponsored by the folks at Instant. Instant helps you get inbound leads that fills your pipeline. The other thing that's important for product market fit that I've learned is the more customer conversations you're having with your ideal customers, the more likely you are to get to product market fit. That's it. So Instant goes to work for you. You just plug in your website. It builds out your full marketing funnel, and it helps you attract inbound leads that fills your pipeline and converts to revenue. So if you want inbound leads, you want more customer conversations, you can accelerate your path to product market fit, go to useinstant.com. Useinstant.com. They're the ones that make these episodes possible. They're the ones that make this channel possible. So please give them some love as well. All right, number 3. So after I sold ToutApp to Marketo, and then we sold Marketo to Adobe, I left. I spent a little bit of time in Adobe, but it wasn't really my jam. Wonderful people. They made me interview for some roles. I met with like the executive team at Adobe for this role, and then they made me do it. They were like, TK, we really want you to go interview. I'm like, I don't want that role. In fact, I was meeting with like the GC of Adobe, and he's like, you don't want this role, do you? I'm like, no, I don't. Like literally, they're having me interview, but I'm gonna give it my whole. Like I'm gonna really give it my whole. But honestly, like you'd have to convince me to take this role. So it was kind of funny. That's for another episode. That was an insane story of how I was trying to convince them. As part of that interview process, they had me do some work, and I was trying to convince Adobe, their head of strategy, to buy Slack. I was like, you should buy Slack. You should buy Slack. Slack is gonna be the best investment you're gonna make, because Slack is all the stuff that happens in between Adobe Photoshop and whatever other tools that you're selling, Creative Cloud. Slack. You should buy Slack. You're gonna own the communications layer. Of course, they didn't do it, and I think like, let's see, it was 2018. 2 years later, Salesforce bought them, and it's like an incredible asset for them. So if you want the background story of how all that happened, put another episode in the comments and I'll tell you all about it. All right, so after I left Adobe, I was like, what do I do now? I moved here to Dallas from San Francisco after like 10 years there. And like one of the pieces of advice I got when I sold ToutApp was like, hey, you're not CEO anymore. That's gonna be a tough transition. So find a creative project that's your creative outlet that you have full control over. And so that's when I started this YouTube channel. And I started this YouTube channel. I was like starting it out. And honestly, when I started this YouTube channel, I just wanted to be Casey Neistat. And on my way out, I had to go speak at a conference, and Casey Neistat was speaking, and him and I met. And I was even more inspired at that point. I'm like, dude, I'm starting a channel. I'm inspired by you. And he's like, good for you, dude. I don't think he knew what he was talking about, like what I was talking about. But he was a super nice guy. But I was inspired by Casey Neistat, and that's why I started this channel as a creative outlet. But when I left Adobe, I'm like, what do I do now? And SaaS was a weird spot. It was like, I know I have another software company in me, but man, we are at the end of this cycle of SaaS and cloud. The world does not need yet another SaaS platform. Maybe there's vertical platforms, maybe there's niche platforms, but I can't think of a VC bet in this space. So instead of starting another software company, I'm like, I don't have an idea. I know it's gonna be about go-to-market because that's what I've always done. So why don't I do this? I'm gonna do the YouTube channel. I'm gonna share everything I've learned about go-to-market, and I'm gonna run these coaching programs. In these coaching programs, I'm gonna teach them my framework on how to drive growth based on what I've learned. So I started Unstoppable. And Unstoppable, the thesis was I'm gonna work with 1,000 software companies, and out of that, an idea will emerge for the next go-to-market platform. And hopefully by that time, there's a platform shift happening, because I need a platform shift to really create a large company. There was a platform shift happening when sales engagement was happening. It kind of worked out. So I started Unstoppable, and we started with one of our products, for Unstoppable. And of course, like TLDR, fast forward 6 years of Unstoppable. Unstoppable is one of my portfolio companies now. We still run it really well. We have incredible founders going through the programs. We've worked with probably about 1,000 companies by now. We've given out trophies for when founders have hit 1 million, 3 million. We have had founders that went from 10 million to 40 million. There's like all these pictures of like events we've done and we still do them. So it worked. This thesis worked. And out of that did come the idea for a go-to-market platform. So that worked. It all played out. And when I was starting out, I was like coaching. And honestly, I got a lot of like weird comments from people. They're like, oh, you're doing the coaching thing. You're not starting another company. And it was like, screw you, dude. Like, what are you doing? You're like a mid-product manager. Like, off. It really got to me. Like I had to go to my performance coach and she was like, who rattled your cage? I'm like, I don't know. This guy was putting me down for being a coach now. What I did was I'm like, I'm taking on the identity as coach. I'm gonna do Unstoppable and I'm gonna hire the best coaches to surround me. So I hired John so I could deadlift 350 pounds. I hired Valerie so I could have Tony Robbins training on performance. I hired a number of coaches so that I would learn how to be a great coach. And I really put my all into it. And we have been and continue to be incredibly successful in our coaching business. And I promise this will make sense on the product market fit thing. I'm giving you the backstory. But yeah, people would like knock me down on it. It was like, oh, like you didn't want to start another software company? You didn't have an idea? It's like, dude, we're at the end of a cycle and I like making big bets. And now's not a great time to make a big bet. I just can't think of one. I'm sorry. And I'm a little tired. So I'm going to take it easy. I'm going to coach. The other reason I loved coaching as I dug more into it is it was a recurring revenue, high margin business. The reason I like software and SaaS is it's a recurring revenue, high margin business. And that's why I liked coaching because it was high margin. I'm teaching you. I have standardized frameworks and platforms and it works. I have success stories that gets me more and clients go from 0 to 1 to 3 to, I have clients that have been with me for multiple years and they're continuing to grow. So it's recurring revenue. Love the business model. So I did it. But in the early days, I was still figuring it out. And so we had our launch program and we still have our launch program. The launch program recently went through an entire renaissance. It's our AI SaaS Launch Program. And the launch program is designed entirely to help founders go from 0 to 1, to navigate this path to product market fit, to get into as many customer conversations, to ask the right questions, to get the momentum going, to take that Shawshank crawl and to make it where you don't have to do it alone. So anyway, when I started it, I was new to coaching. I was new to having a program, running a program. And one thing that was important to me was I didn't want it to be just a course, because courses on their own are too passive. These are programs. So you get training, you get tools, you get coaching, you get community. So it's like an immersive experience. So I got it going. I was like, okay, what's product market fit for this? And the problem with this, with coaching, software, you don't fully own the outcome. People have to use the software. What are you gonna do if they pay for it, but they don't use it? What are you gonna do? For the launch program and for these coaching programs, for software, I looked at revenue. Like, what's my revenue? That's my early indicator of product market fit. For coaching, I knew that there was like a bad rep for course bros. You know, people that had like 300-pound people teaching you how to lose weight. It's like, what the? You go lose weight first, which is the same. There were people, and still today, there are people selling courses that have never done it before. I have literally deadlifted 350 pounds. I could teach you and give you some pointers on how to deadlift 350 pounds. But I would also tell like, hey, go talk to John, because he taught me how to do this. Because I have that humility. A lot of people don't have the humility. They're selling courses. I didn't want to do that. So it was really important to me. I'm like, it's not just about sales. In fact, every single time we got a client and they paid me, I still had Mr. Moneybags for Unstoppable, still do. We have Mr. Moneybags for all our platforms. Instead of the dopamine hit with ToutApp, because software revenue, with the coaching business, I got a pit in my stomach. It almost like weighed on me. I'm like, oh, I gotta make sure this person's successful. Over time, I learned that you can't control the outcome through coaching, like consulting, maybe you can. So there's like nuances there. I still didn't want to celebrate the revenue. Like that wasn't it for product market fit. For me, product market fit was success. But with launch, it takes time. It does. It takes time to get to product market fit. So I was like, I'm gonna need to go 3 years. And in 3 years, we'll know how good the launch program is because we'll get the success stories. We'll give out the trophies. I had to take a long view on product market fit. I'm like, I don't know if we have true product market fit. We'll have revenues, but that doesn't mean we'll have a successful product and we have product market fit. So success for this coaching business, Unstoppable, is gonna be when we hand out trophies. That's why. So that's how I approached Unstoppable. But something crazy happened. This is like one of those like ToutApp. I thought it was like the boop cha-ching, that would like tell me product market fit, but it was the knock on the door. Something just as crazy happened for Unstoppable. It was early days of the launch program. And we have two programs. One is the launch program, which is the 0 to 1, and the go-to-market program, which is scaling upwards of 100 million. And then we have barrel rolls. Barrel rolls are where my team and I just come implement everything for you, and it's $250K for 3 months, and then ongoing maintenance after that. So that's for like the biggest companies we work with. And we use all the portfolio companies' platforms. So it's grown. Early days, we were still dialing in our operations. Like you'd fill out a Stripe link, you'd get access to everything. We didn't have everything buttoned up. Now everything's buttoned up. Back in the day, we used to get on sales calls. And now we're like, listen, we have 500 episodes on the YouTube channel. We have all this content. We have all these success stories. You apply, we review, and we approve. If that doesn't work for you, we don't want to work with you. Literally not worth our time. So that's where we've evolved to. Not from a place of like we're so good, but kind of. Because we're 6 years in, we have so many success stories. We give out so much free content. By the time you apply, if you don't trust us, you should not apply. So we've evolved it. But back then, it was still early days. We didn't really have the contract process. We didn't have like the operations in place. So anyway, someone got through, paid, accessed the program, accessed the content. And we track everything. We track when you view the content, you come to the coaching. A week later, he's like, hey, I want a refund. And back then, we didn't have the contracts that we do now. We didn't have the legal protection like we did back then. So I was like, dude, this is like, you consumed everything. How can you possibly ask for a refund? He's like, no, I want a refund. I'm like, you know what? We're just starting out. This is a lesson learned. We need to get better on our legal processes. Here's your refund. So I gave him the refund and we kept moving. I'm like, I don't know what this means. We can do better. So I just got back to work. And I always treated over the last 6 years, and even now, I treat the program as like one of those, like it's like software to me. Like we keep iterating on it based on what we learned. So I just did that. Pretty soon, I learned we had product market fit because the craziest thing happened. What happened was that guy emails me back. And I don't know how much time passed. I'd have to look at like maybe like a month, maybe 3 months, decent amount of time. He emails me back and he's like, I applied everything you taught in the launch program, but I was like, I give you a refund for that shit. Like, he's like, I applied everything and it worked and I crushed it. So I would like to pay you some money. I'm like, what are you talking about? I literally wrote back like, what are you talking about? He's like, no, you don't understand. I asked for the refund, but I took the stuff, I applied it, it all worked. And so I must give you money. Like, give me a Stripe link, give me a payment link. I don't care. I must give you money. I expect nothing in return. He wrote all this out. I expect nothing in return. I'm not even gonna come to any of this stuff. It all worked. I must give you money. And I was like, I'm not gonna turn down free money, because one of the things we do in our portfolio companies and in the go-to-market principles we teach is every sale is profitable. With every sale, I can reinvest into ads, which gets me more profits. I'm like, I'm not gonna turn down more profits. So I was like, here's the Stripe link. And sure enough, he paid, and I never heard from him ever again. He just said, thank you. And that happened more than once in different variations. Not the refund, that never happened again, because now we have a very strong legal process on onboarding. But I don't get on calls anymore. Now I only do direct coaching. I don't do any sales calls. We don't do any sales calls for Unstoppable anymore, because we just have a stack of success and proof. So we don't have to. But I remember getting on another sales call where the guy was like, hey, listen, man, like I've gotten so much success. I'm like, I just need to wire you some money. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, listen, I want to join the go-to-market program. I'm like, yeah, it's 22K. He's like, done. I'm like, he's like, I have gotten more value than that. Let me just wire them. And he wired the money. Never heard from him again. Never heard from him again. That was my other way of knowing we had product market fit. When people just are like, I've gotten so much success, like here you go, is when you know for their coaching business. Success is the ultimate metric of product market fit, but there are leading indicators. And so in the software side, revenue was my leading indicator. But with coaching, I didn't want that to be it, because it's easy to sell someone the dream and they pay. Anyone can do that. But it's different when you can show proof of success and they get success. So that's what we tethered it to. And that's how this one came together. So those are my 3 stories I wanted to share with you. This is not some scientific framework. This is literally like my own journey in taking 3 products to product market fit in different levels. The first one was the 0 to 1. Boop, cha-ching, boop, cha-ching. I'm telling you, life-changing when you get that wired up. And it's easier to do today than it was back in the day. That's what we do now. Number 2, the next level, the 100K deal, and for Marketo, the $1 million deal. There's always that next level of product market fit. And number 3, success, customer success, client success, shipping out trophies. And customers coming back. And so I'm like, hey, that actually worked really well. I'm like, first of all, you are a dishonest person. I want nothing to do with you. Second of all, I'll take the profits. Sure. I know this will make a great story. And they do. They always make really great stories. So now you know the process, or at least the mindset that I applied for taking 3 different products to product market fit. And we continue to do it in our operating company, in our holding company. If you got value from this, please smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. Also, this episode is brought to you by the folks at Instant. Instant is a demand acquisition platform. The number one key thing that you need is more customer conversations. And Instant helps you launch an entire marketing funnel so that your ideal customers are coming to you. And you're getting into more customer conversations, and that's gonna accelerate your learnings and accelerate your path to the next stage of growth. So make sure you give the folks at Instant some love. Use instant.com. Also, I drop an episode every single Sunday with actionable strategies and tactics from the trenches on how to grow your business faster based on everything that I've learned and everything I'm applying. So if you got value from this, please smash that like button. Please hit the subscribe button with that bell icon that you'll get notified for the next episode. If you have a fellow founder, future founder that you want to build with, a team member that would get value from this video, please share this with them. It would mean the world to us. Also, if you're in this stage where you are driving the product market fit, you should check out this video. In this video, I walk you through the exact launch plan that I like to follow for any one of our portfolio companies, and the launch plan that we follow when I'm coaching or advising founders on their launch strategy. There's a nuance to launches, and it's not what you think. It's not that big bang launch, and that's what I show you in this video, so make sure you check that out. And lastly, remember, everyone needs this strategy for their life and their business. When you are with us, yours is gonna be unstoppable. I'm TK, and I'll see you in the next episode. I will see you perhaps in the launch program. I'll see you inside of one of our guides. We'll link to it below. I'll see you inside of Instant. Wherever the world may take you, I'll see you there. Take care, everybody.